My name is Mary Jo Rapini, and I'm a licensed therapist. And prior to this incident, what I'm calling now a blessing in my life, I was very removed, detached from an organized religion or feeling close to God. In fact, I felt quite estranged from him. And some of the context of that was I was a psychologist, and my husband and I had moved to Lubbock, Texas, where it was a better job for him. So now on to my story. I'm carrying that in my heart at the time. I was going to Gold's Gym. It was a Saturday morning, the 19th of April, which we call I was raised as Roman Catholic. It was Holy Saturday. And the next day was Easter. And I was having a big brunch at my house. I had a lot of things on my mind. I went to the gym and I was working out. And one of the machines I was working out on was when you push, like I was building my body. And I had this idea, I can lift twice my body weight with my legs. I should be able to do that with my arms. So I had been really dedicated to working on my chest and my arms. And with one of the machines, you sit in a chair and then you push. And I was loading up on weights that day. So when I pushed the first time, I went, oh my God, like that's really heavy. And I don't know if I can do another one. I had 98 pounds on it and I weigh 107. And so I thought, I'm just going to do one more. And I did one more. And as I pushed, I felt a sharp jabbing pain in the back of my neck. It felt like I had been stabbed or something. So I got up and I was a little bit disoriented because the pain was so intense. I got off the machine. I kind of stumbled to the side. Anyway, I laid down, and one of the people working out who knew me there said, "Hey, muscle woman, what's the matter?" And I said, "If you can, go get help because I think I need an ambulance. I hurt myself." So anyway, the ambulance took me to the hospital, and there was, they did CAT scans, they did MRIs, and they found out that I had had a bleed. And there was so much blood in my head that they didn't know if I would survive the night. In the ambulance, I don't know if you've ever had the kind of pain that it can make you go mad, like it can drive you crazy. It hurts so bad. And going over every bump, I told God, I can't handle this. I need your help. And I don't care if I live. I've had a good life. And if it's your will that I be gone, then I want you to know I'm grateful. And I said that at a time, I always thought that was the bravest thing anyone could ever say. But as far as pain, I had a terrible headache. I had a terrible neck ache, and you just feel nauseated and you're incredibly weak, which for me, since I'm so jumpy and usually anxious, probably worked in my favor because they didn't want me out of bed. I couldn't move. And I had no desire to move or get out of bed. On Tuesday is when I had what I believe is a near-death experience when I was with God. I woke up about 2 a.m. Tuesday morning to nurses putting stuff on me. At this time, I had been in the surgical ICU. They moved me out to the floor on Monday, and now I was on the floor going back in. And they were putting monitors on me. They were waking me up. They were doing all kinds of tests. And they told me, you're not doing well. We called your husband and we're going to move you over to the ICU so we can keep a good eye on you. They had done another angiogram. They had been able to locate the aneurysm, and they believed I was getting septic. And without this brain surgery, I was not a candidate for them to coil it because it had already burst. And coiling would have been easier because they could have gone through the groin and just not had to open the brain, but they had to open my skull. And during that time, when they were getting me ready and talking to Ron, I saw a white light, and it was in the upper right-hand corner of my room. And this light was not like anything else I had ever seen. It was a bit ethereal. It was a kind of a different color. It was luminescent, but it also was soft. And as I looked at it, I thought, what is that? Is that a tunnel? Because it almost has like that round, the corrugated side, almost as if it would be an encapsulated tunnel. And then as I looked at it, I thought, well, I'm not impressed because it's so little. And then all of a sudden, I am moving into it. And it's quite odd the way your body moves into it, because you're not lying down flat. You're kind of upright. And your eyes work in a way that, I know this sounds strange and even corny, but your eyes can see behind you. I could see and sense that my body, the shell, was on the bed. But what was unbelievable to me is, and I believe my consciousness, which is very important to me, was with me. I think it was part of my soul, because I was able to see what people were wearing, and I could see Ron. Ron was there. He had his head in his hands. He was crying, and he was looking at this document. It was a surgical consent. And all of a sudden, I left that. I didn't care about it. I was so focused on what I was seeing. And I came to this luminescent, like a light pinkish room. And I got the sense that there were no walls. It was just mass. It was an opening, if you will. And I wasn't the only person going through it. It felt like there were other people. And I'm referring to felt a lot because it doesn't make sense. But you sort of see with your senses too. Everything is with you as one. And I felt like I knew that place. Like I had felt that place before. I had been there. And all of a sudden, I didn't see the exact action, how it happened. God was holding me. He said, it's not your time. And I was so disappointed because I wanted to be there with him. And very different from what I ever expected. The love was not human, and it was comparing it like to human love would be plastic, like a credit card, whereas this was really deep. And I said, I can't stay, but why not? And I started telling God all of my accolades. I gave free cancer care. I would come up at night when people were dying. I would pray for people. I tried to be a good mother. I tried to be a good wife. I had been a good worker. Every positive thing I could think about myself, which is so awful and now, or arrogant or whatever. I tried to tell him, and he said, let me ask you one thing. Have you ever loved anyone the way you've been loved here? And I said, no, that's impossible. I am a human, just to remind God of my humanness. And then the sensation was a closer hold from God, and he said, you can do better. And I don't remember leaving that space, but I woke up to Ron, like shaking me because he felt like I was unconscious, and saying, Mary, we have to make this decision together. Like they have to open your brain, and they have to clip this vessel, and you might never be the same. You might not be able to run, Mary, or even walk. And I'm a runner. I was a runner. I was running 50 and 100 milers. Running was my life. And he said, and your personality might change completely. I need you to tell me it's okay. And I said, it's okay. I'm not going to die anyway. And Ron said, well, I hope not. I hope not, Mary. I think if you pray, you're close to God, I think you'll be okay. And I said, I just talked to God. And it's not my time, Ron. And I woke up after the surgery, and I was upset. I was depressed. In fact, I was depressed that I was back here for several months after. And what I live with every day now is I live with this incredible memory, or whatever's been branded on me. And I tell myself, I ask myself, am I doing enough? Am I standing up for God's goodness? Am I being conscientious with what He gave me? Am I loving others the way He told me to practice loving more? And the answer is always, I'm trying, but it's very difficult. I will tell you one thing. I think I'm a better therapist. And I think I'm a better therapist because I judge less. And I think compassion is the most important gift we give each other. And just get out of this mindset of who's right and who's wrong. I mean, we're all connected, and we're all going back there, all of us. And there is a God, and He is our source. He is my source. I believe He's yours too, but you have to get there on your own. And I believe He knows each and every one of us. He connects to us in a way that we can't possibly understand. We're very limited with our minds, with our brains, with our bodies. It's left me with a deep sense of compassion.